Hundreds of farmers and their supporters vented their displeasure today at politicians and in particular the Labor and Green parties at a protest in Jacinda Ardern's hometown of Morrinsville. It was billed as a chance to back a rural sector sick and tired of being the scapegoat for environmental issues. Our Waikato reporter Andrew McRae was there.
First of all, I'd just like to ask everyone, where are they from? Who's from the Greater Waikato? Who's from Auckland? Who's from Northland? Taranaki? Any further than Taranaki? Hawke's Bay.
About 500 farmers and locals turned out in Morrinsville to show their support. Well, not strictly a political rally. The number of national and New Zealand first signs and lack of anything red or green put paid to that theory. One of the organisers, veteran dairy farmer Lloyd Downing, didn't dispute that Labor was the target.
Because it's probably going to be a Labor-Greens alliance, isn't it? And I mean, if we try and farm underneath that sort of politics is going to be extremely difficult.
Lloyd Downing says the protesters' message to politicians is clear.
Well, I would just like to think that there's a bit of solidarity in the rural community, and to the MPs, just leave us alone. You know, and we will sort the problem out. And as I said, by the time, if they tax us, we need a carrot, not a stick.
Dairy farmer Jim Cotman reckons political parties see the rural sector as an easy target, believing their votes don't count.
But what they need to consider is what the effect is on all the rest of the rural communities. All the extra taxes that are coming, emissions, water tax, the whole 9 yards, we're all going to get copped one way or another, and there's less money available.
Horticulturalist Jeff Harper came over from the Bay of Plenty for the rally to show solidarity with the farming community.
I think that the Labor policies in terms of the carbon tax and the water tax could make farming in this country uneconomic.
Other farmers who braved the wet and cool conditions were in no doubt why they were there.
Oh, I've heard because Jacinda's lost the plot. She says this is her hometown. Well, she's kicking her hometown in the guts as far as we're concerned. Won't be here if she has her way.
A tax on water for farmers is effectively a tax on the ability to earn overseas funds.
The cities and the country are dividing, and it concerns me. I think that we need each other.
The fact the election is only 5 days away wasn't lost on New Zealand First leader Winston Peters. He spoke at the end of the rally, but found it hard going as someone decided to start up Myrtle, an old Massey Ferguson tractor made famous when National MP Jacinda Ardern tried to drive it up the steps of Parliament during a farmers' protest in 2003.
Can you tell that farmer to turn that tractor off? Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a political rally. This is about New Zealand farming. I want to tell you, as clear as my brother's day.
Dairy farmer Scott Smythe got into a heated discussion with Mr Peters.
Yeah, I would honestly like to hear what you would do if you went in with Labor.
If you wanted to hear, why were you talking?
Because everyone else was talking, and I just say get on with it and just say what you're going to do. Well, don't you want to say?
What do you mean what I'm doing?
If you go in with Labor, what will you do for rural New Zealand in regards to all these taxes?
I'm here to tell you that the two-old party's going to rip you off on water charges. And you think it's Labor, don't you? And Nationals is bad.
National leader Bill English stayed away from the protest, but when asked, was happy to point the finger at Labor and the Greens.
The real problem here is Labor and the Greens have targeted the rural community because they believe there's urban votes in it. We work with them, and in the future we'll be working with urban communities because the water quality issues in our urban areas are going to be challenging. That's how you make progress. You make progress by working with people, not adopting divisive politics.
But Labor leader Jacinda Ardern denied there was any sort of rural-urban divide.
The fact that I know that there are plenty of farmers who are environmentalists and want to see us clean up our rivers. And that is why we've announced our plan. It is ultimately about making sure our rivers are swimmable again.
Standing a little way off from the protest rally, in fact across the road and down a bit, were about 8 people protesting water pollution, with a banner saying, "Love farming, hate pollution." One of them, Angus Robson, says they didn't join the main protest because they didn't want to confront farmers. The main protest rally dispersed pretty quickly as the rain started to fall again, and the irony of having too much water wasn't lost on those there. In Morrinsville for Checkpoint, Andrew McRae.